Hello again, YouTube. All right, so here we go. This labor and delivery story. Now it has been officially today, actually, that I'm filming this. Not, I probably won't upload it today, but 21st of this month officially is a month post delivery. So my baby is officially a month old today, and I feel like it was high time for me to get this labor and delivery story up on YouTube before all the details became fuzzy and I forgot. So yeah, this is gonna be a long video. I hope that it's gonna be less than 20 minutes. If not, bear with me. You know, it's a good story. It's a good, I'm gonna try to be very, very detailed. There will be some TMI moments in this video. Sorry in advance if you get uncomfortable, but I feel like when I was pregnant and I was looking at everybody else's labor and delivery stories, I wanted to know everything because it was happening to me, and I just wanted to know what to expect. So I really appreciated the women who, you know, were very candid about their experiences and filmed it. I wasn't able to film it. We just were not in the state of mind to have the camera. We had the camera, we took pictures, but you know, it happened really fast, and two, we just weren't in the mental headspace to think like, oh, let's vlog this. I really wish that we had, but all right. 34 weeks pregnant, went to the doctor and she checked me. I was 2 centimeters dilated and 50% effaced. If you're not pregnant, don't know what that means. That means my cervix was open 2 centimeters and it was thinned out half of the way that it needs to be thinned out to have your baby. So yeah, I stayed like that. They did not check me until I had her, so I didn't know if I was like progressing, but I did feel like I was opening up because I would feel sharp pains from what I thought was my cervix, and it turned out it probably was my cervix. So yeah, I was doing that, dilating, and I was having Braxton Hicks every once in a while. And then when I was 36 weeks pregnant, the day of my baby shower, I lost my mucus plug, which was very weird, and it made me excited because I was just like, oh my God. Everything online say, you know, after you lose a mucus plug, you can go, you know, usually like within a couple days or at least a week. So we were expecting to have the baby soon. So lost the mucus plug. It did, I don't know if it was regenerating or what, but like it came out, like a lot came out. And then over the next couple of days, like I kept getting mucus. So expect that if you're pregnant, that could happen to you. Then let's see, that was on March 6th, and then nothing happened, and I was miserable. I was so ready for the baby to come, and I was complaining and looking noticeably just huge and tired. And so people kept suggesting things that we could do to kick off labor. Here's the TMI part. So, you know, Google and lots of other women who had babies tell you you can have sex, you can exercise, go on walks, nipple stimulation, certain foods that you can eat. I think like primrose water, pineapples. Like there's a lot of like old wives' tales and things that you'll find online to tell you how to start your labor. We went with nipple stimulation. So we were just at home watching a movie and said, hey, let's try this and see if it works. And it did. After about 10 minutes of stimulation, we just decided to stop because I wasn't feeling anything. And then within maybe like 3 minutes, boom, a really, really big contraction. Yeah, it was it was crazy. Like I was in bed and just started like, oh my God, like it just hit me. So got out of bed, tried to breathe through it, and it was over. And my boyfriend was just like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know, maybe a Braxton Hicks. It was really bad though. And then a couple minutes later, another and another. So that was I think they had the first one maybe like Saturday night at like 11 p.m. and then I was having contractions until Sunday morning at like 9 a.m. Now maybe 2 or 3 hours into that, my boyfriend started to freak out, and he was like, maybe we should go to the hospital. And I was just like, no, I can't be having a baby now. Like I was 38 weeks pregnant at this point, and I was in denial. I was like, I wanted the baby to come, but I just did not believe she's gonna be coming before the due date, which was April Fool's Day. So I dad said, no, let's just call instead. So we called the doctor. And by the way, like, this had happened after I had like thrown up, got diarrhea. Like, I was going through it. I was pretty sure that I was having a baby, but I was, like I said, in denial. So we called the doctor. She said, start your time of contractions. And she said, when they get 5 minutes apart, lasting a minute, and something else. It was like 5-1-1, 5 minutes apart, lasting a minute, and gaining intensity. Then she said, come into the hospital. And so we did start to time them. And this was probably about maybe 4 a.m. And then we timed them, and then they stayed at around like 7 minutes. Then they went down to 6 minutes. Then they went back up to 7 and 8 and then 7. And so it was just really inconsistent. And then maybe by like 6 a.m. they got farther and farther apart. I was still having them, but then they got to be 10, 15, 20 minutes apart, and I was able to go to like sleep during them. So we didn't go to the hospital that night, and then by like 10 a.m. they had stopped completely. And so I ended up getting some sleep. And so that day, I was exhausted from not getting any consistent sleep and just being in so much pain all night that I just laid around like a bum, didn't comb my hair, did not take a shower. Like, all I did was eat and lay in the bed. Like, I didn't do anything. That was a mistake, because by the time like the day was over, my boyfriend and I, we got in bed because we were both exhausted. He didn't sleep either. And then so it's Sunday night at like 11 p.m. we both lay down, and within 10 minutes of us laying down, another contraction, like a really strong one. And so I'm just sitting in bed like, this is another Braxton Hicks. Like, I'm not about to deal with this tonight. So I took 2 Tylenol, drank some water, and tried to, you know, breathe through the contractions that I was having, but they were not going away. And so I was trying not to wake my boyfriend, but they got to the point where I needed help. So I woke him up like, can you help me get out of the bed? Because standing up and like breathing and rocking, that really helped me like to breathe through them. So I wanted him to help me get out of the bed. As he was doing that, my water broke. But it didn't, like, there was no like big gush, like a tidal wave of water like you see in the movies. It was just like a lot of fluid, and I was like, oh my God, get me out of the bed, because I did not want to ruin my sheets. Like, this is what I'm thinking about as my water's breaking, ruining my sheets. So he helped me get out of the bed, and then I was like, yeah, I need to go to the bathroom. Like, after the contraction was over, I was like, help me get to the bathroom, because I'm pretty sure my water just broke. So get to the bathroom. He's like, maybe you just peed on yourself. And I'm just like, no, like, I know what it feels like to pee. This is not that. So I'm sitting on the toilet, and it's still coming out. And I said, okay, you need to get my mom, wake my mom, tell her my water just broke, get my phone, call the doctor. So tell my mom. She's just like, your water didn't break. You probably peed on yourself. And I'm just like, I didn't pee on myself. Like, I know what it feels like to pee on myself. I did not do that. And so call the doctor. I explained everything to her, and she said, yeah, it sounds like your water just broke, so, you know, get ready to have a baby. Like, come on in. The doctor on call was Dr. Goldsmith. She's not one of the doctors that I had been seeing, which is crazy, because I had saw like 4 doctors at Northwestern. And I was just like thinking like, oh, there's a pretty good chance that one of them is going to be the one that delivers. No. So, but she was really, really nice. So after she said to go ahead and come in, I was like, it's go time. So my boyfriend's getting the bags ready, put them in the car. I'm having contractions still. And, you know, I remember him saying to me like, wow, you seem really calm. And I was like, I was in pain, but I don't know, I was just trying to focus on breathing through it and just getting to the hospital. I don't know, I was calm, because I think I was ready. And I mean, there was no point in freaking out, because what was that gonna do? So we get in the car. It's me, my boyfriend, my mom's in the back seat, and we're driving on the expressway. The hospital was like 30 minutes away. We're in the car listening to music. I'm trying to breathe through contractions, which are getting worse by this point. I ended up throwing up in the car. Thank God there was a plastic bag, so I didn't get it everywhere. So I was happy about that. And then we finally got to the hospital, We were in the like the little reception area for a little while, but then when they took me back to the room to check me, they put the fetal heart monitor on me. Nurse was talking to me, and then I think I changed into a gown, not the gown that I bought, like pretty pink gown, because she was like, oh, it might get messed up. And for some reason I cared. I shouldn't have cared. I mean, I bought it to give birth in it, but whatever. So put that on, and then she checked me. I was 4 centimeters dilated and probably about 80% effaced at that point. And she said, yeah, you're definitely in labor. And I was like, oh, good, because I felt like it. And then at that point, she asked me what I had planned to do for pain management. And at that point, like, a lot of people have been pressuring me to not get the epidural. Me personally, I was not afraid of it. I knew that there were risks. I didn't care. When I went on my hospital tour, they let us know that 97% of the women who give birth at that hospital get an epidural, and they go smoothly. It's not a super scary thing anymore. So I was just like, you know, I'll see how I feel when I get there, and if I feel like I can do it without pain, then I will. If I feel like I need the epidural, I'll get the epidural. So I told her, oh, you know, I want to like labor for a little bit longer and then see once I get up to my room. And she said, okay, you know, just to let you know, you can have it anytime you want it. And then she left out of the room to let the doctor know that I was in labor and to get everything ready to move me up to the labor and delivery room. And while she was gone, the contractions were getting really bad. I threw up again. My water was still coming out, and which was weird. They ended up giving me like cotton underwear to put on to make it feel better, but it was still just gross. But yeah, the contractions were bad. Like, I was trying to breathe through them, but they were just like sucking the air out of your body. Like, it's so painful. Like, I can't even really remember the pain. Like, that is a real thing. Like, people say that they don't really remember it. It's because it's so bad. You can't describe it, and you really can't even I just know that it was bad. I remember throwing up. I remember squirming in the bed. I remember holding on to Prince's hand for dear life. I remember having to remember to breathe because it was that bad. And by the time she came back in the room to move us, which was like maybe 20 or 30 minutes had passed, I was like, I want the epidural as soon as I get up there. Like, I knew that my mom was gonna feel like, oh, you could have did it without it. At that point, I did not care. I just wanted the drugs. They moved me, got me to the room. It was a nice, beautiful room. It was huge. There was a big TV on the wall. It was lots of space. It was really, really nice room. All the nurses were really lovely. They were all so nice. So yeah, they got me up there, hooked me up to a bunch of machines. I was able to get the epidural, maybe within like 25 minutes of being in the room. And I remember people kept asking me like, oh, how do you feel? Are you allergic to anything? You know, just asking you questions. And I'm like, yeah. And then I start to feel a contraction come on, and then I'm just like, oh my God. And then they're like, oh, another one, here it comes, just wait. Like, they were really patient and understanding that as soon as I start to feel the pain increasing, my concentration I was not able to talk about anything. So yeah, what really pushed me over the edge with the epidural was me thinking like, okay, this is my first baby, and according to everything that I've read online, that my labor is not gonna be quick. I'm probably gonna be here all day. And I'm just like, can I really deal with this pain all day? No. So yeah, they got it. I was perfectly still during the epidural. In my opinion, it did hurt, but if you have piercings or tattoos, it's not really too much worse than that. So I mean, it hurt for a second, and then it was in, and then almost as soon as like the anesthesiologist was done, I hope that's what you would call the person who does the epidural, I don't know, but as soon as he was about to leave the room, the pain was almost gone. Like, it was amazing. Like, it was over. My legs were numb, but I could still move them, but they were tingling. They put me in the bed. They had to rotate me like every couple minutes. Just, I don't remember why. She told me why. I don't remember. But yeah. So after that, it was a breeze. I took a nap. And I was thinking like, oh, you know, when I get up, you know, I'm gonna call people and let them know. But then they woke me to let me know that the baby's heart rate was dropping because my contractions were very, very strong. They checked me again, and at that point I was 5 centimeters dilated. And this was like maybe 45 to 50 minutes after I had been admitted. So in that time I dilated another centimeter, and I was pretty much completely thinned out. So they gave me a drug to slow down my contractions because they were too strong for her. And at that point I was just happy that I wasn't feeling them, because if they were too strong for the baby, what would they have been doing to me? They gave me that, then they left me alone. I went back to sleep. When they came back, I was still 5 centimeters dilated, which I think maybe another hour had passed when I was asleep. I can't remember. So they said they were gonna give me something to make the contractions, you know, progress me, because I was doing fine, but you know, they were too strong for her. So they gave me that drug, and at that point I was 5 centimeters dilated. They came back to check me like 20 minutes later. I was 10 centimeters dilated. like that. And they were like, oh, it looks like you're ready. And I'm just in the bed like, what? Like, no, like, it's not. I've only been here like 4 hours. Are you sure? So yeah, at that point it was time to go. And everything happened really fast after that point. Like, at first there was a nurse and one doctor in there with me. All of a sudden there were like 4 or 5 other like doctors, including Dr. Goldsmith, the one that I had spoken to on the phone. At that point my aunt, my mom, and my boyfriend were in the room, and they were like lifting the table, putting on masks, turning on lights, clicking on machines, getting things ready. Like, they were really, really fast getting me ready. And then like, as all this other stuff is happening in the room, one of the nurses is talking to me through like, okay, so we're gonna get you on all fours. That's Pharah. Pharah. I was gonna let you guys meet her at the end of the video, but she has other plans. Hi. I'm telling them the story of your birth. Here she is. Okay, so as they're getting the room and everything ready, the nurse is telling me like, okay, we're gonna get you on all fours and we're gonna have you do your first push just to see how you do. And that was an awkward position to be in, with like my butt in the air, but we did it. And I pushed, which was, they had to explain it to me, because I'm like, okay, you know, everybody just says push, what does that mean? Like, I have never had a baby, I don't know what pushing means, but I guess it's kind of like doing a Kegel, like you just squeeze and push. I don't know, I just did what I felt was the right thing to do, and it just happened to be good. They told me that I had done a really, really good job. So they put me back on my back at that point, and they raised the table up really high, because I think the doctors were standing. They told me right away, like, you know, we're gonna try to get her out fast, but if you can't push her, then we're gonna do a C-section. That kind of freaked me out, because I was just like, I haven't even gotten a chance to push yet, y'all are already talking about a C-section. Like, no, that's not gonna happen. Prince is on my right side. There are 1,000 doctors. I hear my mom and my aunt across the room cheering me on, and like, as the contractions are coming, they're telling me to push, like pull my knees back past my head and push. And yeah, for a while I was doing a really good job. Prince said he was not gonna look, but he did, and he was telling, I was like, what's going on? And he was like, you can see her hair, like her head's coming. And at one point I almost wanted to give up trying to get her head out. Oh my God, like I was pushing as hard as I can, and they're steady saying, harder, 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 keep going, keep going. And I was tired. And I was pushing as hard as I could. And I just hear my mom in the background screaming like, you can do this, Brittany, like come on, like really cheering me on. And so I just kept pushing, and it came out. And then at that point it was like pretty easy, because you know her shoulders are more narrow than her head. So at that point she was pretty much out, and I didn't realize this until later, like asking my aunt and everybody. Like, I had only pushed for 15 minutes and she came out. So this kid was very easy to get out. She cooperated. And yeah, like hearing her first cry, it was amazing. Like now when she cries, I'm just like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? But that day, like, I did not want her to stop crying. I was just like, oh my God, like I waited so many months to hear the sound of her voice, and there it was. So yeah, she was out. I kind of felt it, her come out, but not really. The epidural was great. Like I was pushing, but I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any stretching, maybe a little pressure. But I mean, even then that wasn't that bad. And then, you know, she was out, they cleaned her off. And I did tear a little bit. They said it wasn't too bad. So they were sewing me up, and I'm just like looking over across the room. Prince is standing there watching them clean her off, and I'm just watching like, okay, when am I gonna hold my baby? And then when they were finally done sewing me up, cleaning me up, cleaning her off, they gave her to me, and she was kind of still covered in vernix, but they had cleaned her off a little bit. And she was just beautiful. And she was tiny. She was 6 pounds, 8 ounces. And it was so great. Like, I just held her and smelled her and immediately started to breastfeed. And she latched on great. She's just a perfect little baby. She did everything right. And yeah, that was it. So, I think I was admitted to the hospital at 1 a.m. She was out by 6:44. I pushed for 15 minutes. And it was a breeze. So yeah, after that, I definitely can have another one. No time soon though. Right? Right? No comment. Here is my baby. Miss Pharah Giselle Wright. That's that. So thank you so much for watching. More stuff should be on my blog. I'm trying to, you know, balance motherhood and continuing to do the videos and blogging since I love it so much. But thanks so much for sticking with me. Bye.